Okay, we're ready to start this next stage. I'm going to go after the knobs. Now, these two knobs on the bottom, in fact, all three of the knobs, they look a little different. All three of them look different. So I think I'm going to go after this bottom knob first. Actually, the bottom knob and the top knob, I think that they actually secretly might be the same, except one of them has like a little push button thing and it sticks out a little further. So I think if I make one of them, I'll be able to just copy one of them, clone it, and then I'll be able to modify it. So they're on the side of the TV. So if I come over here to Max and I got the TV selected, they're on this side right here. And I'd like to kind of build them in place and about the right size from the very start so I know what the underlying geometry looks like. So up here, I'm going to click on perspective and just change my perspective viewport to a right viewport. Zoom in. This is the area that I want to work in, and I'm going to make a cylinder. And I'm going to click and draw out a cylinder, and that's about in the right place with about the right size. Switch to the Modify tab and call this bottom knob. So bottom knob. I'm going to get the Move tool and switch back to perspective and see where is this thing at. And it is inside the TV. So let's move it out of the TV. And also, I want to look at it here because, there's some things about this knob that, when I made the knob, here on the Modify tab, you're going to notice that it came with 20 height segments. Look at all those polygons. Get rid of those, please. One height segment will be more than enough. And then this height of 0.6, yeah, that's pretty tall. We only need this to be about that thick. And then the base of our, see where I've hit the TV here, and I just want to sink the base in just a little bit. And I'm already going to have the bottom of my knob showing here. As I look at this, I can see the bottom. What's going to be the bottom edge? Now, I noticed that the knob actually, it's kind of inset underneath it. There's going to be a little bit of space underneath it. We should be able to see some kind of a little bit of a shadow underneath that. Um, so I'm going to push that in a little bit further. And then this cylinder, I'm going to right click my cylinder here and I'm going to turn it into an editable poly. Just make it into an editable poly. I'm going to grab its polygon right here on the very front, and I'm going to click the bevel tool, which of course brings it out to a monstrous bevel. But I want to have a little more control over this. Um, maybe bevel it about 0.1. So bevel about 0.1, and then the bevel height. And I think I will set that at about 0.15. All right. So that kind of like gets a little bit of a lip there out of that edge. I will set that. Take a look back at my reference image. All right. I'm going to extrude it up. So a slight, very slight, definitely not 10, like maybe zero point 0.1 extrusion up. Okay, good. Maybe even smaller than that, 0.05. I'll do 0.05 extrusion up. Gives me just a little bit of thickness to the base. Go back and look at my reference image. All right. Now I need to come in. I need to come in a little bit. So I think I will. Yeah. I can do this by changing to my scale tool. And yeah, nice. I like it. Made that sharp edge right there. Very nicely sharp. Okay. my reference image one more time. Yeah, I might bring this in just a little bit further. There we go. All right, happy with that. Switch back to my select tool so I can look at this, see how my knob's coming along. All right. And then I need to, it's going to be a bevel up. So a bevel up. And then I'm going to inset it and push it down. So first we're going to bevel it up. So I'm going to open up the bevel tool and I'll zero out the bevel outline and yeah, push that up. And about 0.3 looks pretty good. If I look at my reference image here, maybe even 0.4 might even be better. I think I'll just go with a nice round 0.4. And now the bevel outline, this time I want it to like come in a little bit, not too much, like a negative 0.05 bevel in. That looks pretty good. Might even go as much as negative 0.08. I'll take that, negative 0.08. All right. And then let's see what happens when I do inset. Whoa, man, that's a big inset. What if I inset 0.1? There we go. Cool. So I'm going to do a 0.1 inset and take that. And looking at my knob here. All right. Now I'm going to extrude down. I'm going to extrude down into. So I'll open up the extrude menu, and I will extrude down. Maybe I'll go down 0.4 centimeters. So extrude down 0.4 centimeters. So I've extruded in here. I'm going to do another inset, pretty much just the same as the last one, 0.1 on the inset. And this time when I do my extrude, instead of going negative, I'm going to go positive, I think 0.6. Let me try 0.6 just for right now and see what it looks like. Positive 0.6. Yeah, that thing's coming out of there. Let me take a look at my reference image. Yeah, see, this one's sticking out a little more than that one. I think I can just do both of these the same, and maybe I'll set this out so it just has a little bit of exaggeration at 0.8. Too much, too much, too much. Let's go with 0.65. There we go, 0.65. That'll do. All right, I'm happy with that. So this knob is really getting the general shape of the knob that I'm trying to build. And let's see here. I want to inset, push in just a little bit. So with that polygon still selected, inset about 0.1, that's fine. And then extrude in like negative -0.1. Yeah. And then I can, yeah, that looks perfect. Okay. So turn off polygon. Let me zoom in on this and see how it's looking. We'll render this knob that I made. Wait for it, wait for it. And whoop, there it is. Now, in just a little bit, I have to go check something, so I'm going to pause the video. But in just a little bit, we'll make those little nubs that are all around the edge here. If you look at this, you'll notice there's like these little marks right there along the bottom. I'm going to make all those little marks down there, but I'm going to have to pause the video because I got to go check the barbecue. Today, apparently, is Chinese New Year, and my wife is going to a gathering of some of the local Chinese here on the Monterey Peninsula where they're getting together to celebrate Chinese New Year. So I'm doing up some barbecue that she can bring with herself to that dinner she's going to go have. Now, the next thing I wanted to do, like I said, is going to be these little nubs right here. So these little nubs that are around the edge. So to make that happen, selecting my object right here, got to think about this now. Let me see. Can I do this by messing with the edges? Let me just grab all of these edges. It's almost like I've got enough. It's almost like there's enough edges here for me to do this. I'm not going to worry if my count is off a little bit, if I have more than I'm supposed to. I'm just looking for an effect here. And let's see. Let's see. What can I do? What can I do? What happens if I click split? Nothing happens if I click split. Uh, no. If I hit the extrude button, look at that. That's crazy. Let me zero that out and let me see what happens. Ooh, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah, let me just give it one click, like 2 clicks, and let me zoom in on here and let me see what's going on. Yeah, it's kind of what I wanted to have happen, but I don't think that's exactly what I'm going for here. Let's see. Let me see if there's something down in edit geometry that can help me. Quick slice, line. Definitely don't want to do that. That made all kinds of crazy stuff happen. Yeah. Let's see what happens if I try getting those two. And let me see if I connect them with one line and I click OK. And if I grab that line and if I, man, that's deforming everything, isn't it? Yep, it sure is deforming everything. Let me switch to vertex. Let me grab both of these vertices. And this is going to be different. I'm going to switch my view from view to local and see what happens. Cool. In local, now let me get this one vertex and move it over here. And then let me go get this other vertex. And, ooh, its local is something weirder than, so view and local. Yeah, its local is, going to tug things out of the way. So, let me pause the video here. All right, I'm going to try a different approach. I'm not going to try to build it out of the cylinder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, with the bottom knob selected, I'm going to right click the scene and I'm going to hide unselected. That way I don't got anything else in the scene to distract me here and I can look at this. I'm going to take this knob and I actually want to put it down at the origin. So I'm going to put it down at 0, 0, 0. And there's a reason why I'm going to do this. I'm also going to turn on angle snaps. Zoom in on this. I'm going to turn on angle snaps and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And let me double check its position. I'm still at 0, 0, 0. Good. That centers me right over the origin because I'm going to use some symmetry in order to pull off a neat little trick here. Now, let's go ahead and go to the Create tab and let's build a box, a little box, about like that big. Is that okay? I think it's about big enough. Let me move it over here and kind of into position so it lines up with one of these lines. I'm going to click on top so it really, or actually maybe even better yet, let's just go straight up to a top view here. That way I can really fine tune the positioning of this box. Now it's too big. Obviously it's too big. Let me bring its height is also too thick. That I made its thickness 0. That's not going to work either. So about like that. And then let's see here. I'll zero out and Y. and zero it out. And let's see here, bringing it up, 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 up. Yeah, back out here. So that needs to be out somewhat. Let me change to the perspective viewport. I also need to look at this. Yep, see, I'm below, and I want this to be up here on the top. And not only that, let me get the rotate tool also. I want that to be rotated. And I want to put it down into. Let me see how this is looking. This is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I've got it stuck in there. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to turn off angle snap. I'm going to turn off angle snap again, so that as I'm trying to adjust this, as I'm working on getting this adjusted here, I'd like it to really kind of match the angle, and it doesn't need to quite protrude so much. And I could make it a little bit longer and move it back here like this. It's not sticking through the bottom. I could bring the, nope, width is okay. The height, I could bring the height down a little bit. That way I could push that in just a touch more. All right, now I'm going to switch to a top view. Here I am. I've got this top view and I'm looking down here at that object. Okay. I want to clone it, but I want to clone it going around in the circle here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I got 17 copies that I want to make. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have 18 sections here. So if I take 360 degrees and divide by 18, then I know each of those sections is a 20-degree sweep. From here to there, it's 20 degrees. So here's where it's going to get crazy. I want to take the pivot. Right now, the pivot is currently at like the center of the object. And I want to affect the pivot only, and I want to align the pivot to the world. And so I'm going to set its X and its Y. So now that's going to move the pivot for this object to the center of the world. And then I'm going to turn off affect pivot only. I'm going to turn on angle snaps, turn off percent snaps, turn on angle snaps, and get the rotate tool. And then I'm going to pull my shift button down and I'm going to pull out a copy and I'm going to bring it out to 20 degrees. And at 20 degrees, I'm going to tell this thing to make 17 more copies. And I just want them to make copies, and let me hit the OK button, and bam, it just made all of them. Do you believe me? Take a look. We got quite the button right here. All right. So in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and place this button back in place, but I can see that according to my clock that I need to get back outside and check something. Back in a moment. All right, and now that I have built this knob and it's got the look that I want it to have, definitely has the look that I want it to have, I'm going to go ahead and position it on the side of the TV. So to get it ready to go back there, I'm going to get the rotate tool active again on it. And let me get in perspective mode here. Let me unhide all so I can take a look and see, okay, where is, there we go. That's going to, if I bring it down 90 degrees, there we go. And if I bring it over here and up the side of the TV and over here, let me zoom in on it and continue to further line myself up. These were lined up over that object and about like this. Okay. And let's take a look at the, yeah, it's lined up like practically on top of that. But that's like way from the the top of my TV. And these three knobs are going to go up there. So I'm actually going to, modify my TV a little bit. I'll put the knob right there, click on the TV case, switch to edges, and turn off the move tool. And I would like to get all of these edges. And but I don't need to get those edges. And I should have, it says I've got 12 edges selected, which means I've probably got more edges selected than I want. Really? That's 12 edges? It is 12 edges, isn't it? Yeah. That's because of that detail that I put in there. Is that going to pull it up? Let me get the move tool and see if I don't distort my model. If I pull this, yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. It just totally messed up my model. I'm in the view. I'm looking at that edge. Yeah. So I think I also want to include these other edges as well. Ooh, but that's pulling everything up there from the bottom. Yeah. Vertex. Let's grab the verts. Okay, I'm just going to grab those vertices across there. And of course, it's not showing me as having any vertices selected. Let me select that one by clicking on it. Hold down my control key. Can I get those two? Yeah, and get this one right here. And then if I move all those vertices up, ooh, everything holds its form for me. Everything holds its shape. Awesome. Let me get these vertices and let me look around here real quick. I want to make sure that I'm not. Oh, look at that. I've got some vertices right there. I got some vertices I didn't want to get right there. So let me hold down my Alt key and make sure that I don't get any of those vertices. I don't want those vertices. I should have, it says 15. Let's see. Got one right there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8, 9. I'm going to select off so I got 0 selected. And then I'm going to carefully, 10. There we go. 10 vertices. We'll have that bottom selected. And I can pull this thing up, bring it up a little higher. All right. Now I'm happy with how the placement of that's working relative to where I'm going to put my knob, which I'm now going to stick in the side of my television. So the knob is now placed in the side of the TV. It's about where I want it. I want to make a copy of it. So I'll hold down the shift button, sweep out a copy, and I want to make it an instance. So whatever I do to one of them, I'll do it to the other one. And that will create those two knobs, which, they have a different look and appearance than the knob that's at the top. And I'll come back here in a minute and I'll get to work on that knob on the top.